Hi, this is Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson.
What's up, everybody? I'm Matt Leinart, 2004 Heisman Trophy winner.
Hey, I'm Zane Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Matt Barry from ESPN. You're getting ready to watch one of the best college football podcasts ever. It's the Harris Highlight Show.
You're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're listening to the Harris Highlight Show. Enjoy it.
Na 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 na.
Coming to you live from my living room in beautiful Monrovia, California. This is quarantine remote edition of the Harris Highlight Show. Joining me this week is our college football experts and what fitness guru? What is that? 5'6"? I mean, this kid is going.
98,
Look at this guy.
100.
Look at this guy.
It's
wow.
Guru, Blake, not Guru.
Oh, whatever.
Rue?
With our college football analyst, Lyle Goldstein, our executive producer.
Drop and do 20.
Come on, Lyle, do something, big dog. Do something.
I won't be on camera if I drop and do 20.
Hold on.
This is the most exercise Blake's ever done.
I recently just got these 75-pound dumbbells from the store the other day. You wouldn't think they're 75 pounds. I mean, look at this. Like, that doesn't look like 75 pounds if you ask me, does it, boys?
Blake,
Like,
it literally looks like
overhead press.
All right, everyone that's watching right now, get out your weights and follow with me. All right, we're going to do 10 sets. We're going to do it 3 times. All right, everyone gets okay. That's enough of that. Everyone, welcome to the Harris Highlight Show. We have a very fun show planned for all you guys this week. It's entirely going to be Q&A based. So we've done this in the past and Josh is going to do more pull-ups, I guess, or he's taking the pull-up bar down. I'm not entirely sure.
I just don't want my mom to come back in, you know?
So essentially, the entire show is essentially going to be Q&A. So if you guys have questions you'd like to ask us, write them in the comments because we have about an hour, and it's just going to be us answering questions. So ask as many as you can. Ask some fun ones. You know, we did a Q&A last week, so if you watched last week and there were similar questions, try not to ask those. But for the most part, it's wide open. There's no such thing as a bad question. And start asking them away in the comments, and I'll go through, select the best. But boys, while we wait for everyone to come up with questions and whatnot, how has your past week been over there at home?
Well, Blake,
I'm working.
Yeah, I can hear you, Josh.
Cool.
Blake, I'm surprised you didn't start by telling everybody the great thing you bought yourself yesterday or received yesterday.
Well, I was going to, but I was going to go last.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Josh, how are you?
I am swell. You know, been hanging out. Picked up pickleball. Oh man, dude, I am elite at pickleball. You guys know what pickleball is?
I think.
Ew.
One of my good friends, Gracie, she plays pickleball all the time.
Oh,
She
Lyle
played today.
knows. Lyle knows because Lyle's really good at tennis. But what's weird is I've never seen you over on the pickleball courts, Lyle. So I think you're pretty scared, huh?
You know what? I haven't played since playing like a bunch of times in my favorite class ever, PE. So it's been a while. I might have to shake some rust off, but I'd be down to pick up the sticks.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I get pretty competitive, and then we invited our friend Matt the other day, and his girlfriend, who both came back to California recently, and we played them. We played doubles, and it gets pretty competitive. We've been having a good time.
Didn't you also play spike ball and launch a ball into somebody's backyard or?
Okay, so I think we all know who Matt's girlfriend is, Sophie. She just obliterated this thing, and it bounced off the net, launched over Matt. Think about how high that ball needed to get. Matt's like 6'9", and the ball goes way over his head, like 20 feet the other direction and into the neighbor's patio. And then Matt was like, "Oh, I'll get it." So now this big lanky kid jumps over the wall And then we realized there's a little ADT sign in their front yard. Like, oh, they've got cameras of us hitting the ball into their yard and Matt going over to get it. But we got it, and they weren't home, so it's fine. But now they're seeing this because, of course, they watch, and now they know.
Love to see it.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I made the great purchase of NCAA 14 about a week ago. I had to pay a nice hefty price for it because I guess it's supply and demand right now, but it came in yesterday. I started a dynasty with Arizona State. Well, currently I have 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter right now, but I had to pause it. I'm currently beating the number 9 ranked Washington Huskies by 8, and I got ASU up to 15. The way they do the rankings in this game is an absolute joke because I was ranked 21st, and I beat number 1 Notre Dame, and I moved up to 19. So I don't know how beating the number 1 team in the country you move up to. So I'm currently ranked 15th with ASU. My one loss was a 3-point heartbreak to USC because Max Whittick, for whatever reason, is a air raid god in NCAA 14. But that's been a lot of fun. But aside from that, guys, I think it's time to start answering some questions if you guys are down.
Blake, I have one question for you real quick. Did you ever run that play that I told you to?
I did.
And?
Pick 6.
Oh, come on.
Actually,
You have to let it develop, man.
It worked. It worked.
It worked.
So
normal
it was
offset is the best formation in the game. That's the go-to for me. I just run the ball up the middle or do these little counter plays.
Josh loves it when I run the ball up the middle.
All right,
I actually dislike you.
Well, we seem to have lost 40 people because we keep rambling. So hopefully we can start answering some questions to get some people back. So I'm going to go right now and look and see what kind of questions we got right here. Oh boy, there are too many coming right now. This is difficult to think right here. Let's see. I'll answer Andrew Coster's question right now. He wants to know what?
Who is this?
Andrew Coster.
Our
good buddy who always has the best questions. He wants to know what level am I on? I'm currently on not the lowest, the second lowest. So the third highest.
You're on varsity.
Well, that's the second lowest. I haven't played this game. The last game I owned for NCAA was the one with Reggie Bush on the cover. So I don't know if that was 06
that's like
or
2007. Yeah.
So it's been a while since I've played. So I'm not at the worst one, but I'm at the second to lowest because I need to get, reacquainted. That's probably why I'm dominating so much, but I'm on the, I guess, varsity, as Josh says. All right. This question comes from Christian Smith. What do you think of Michigan's quarterback situation? I mean, this could be a topic in itself. It seems like there's a ton of schools out there that essentially are going to have a quarterback battle between two quarterbacks. Now, I'm not exactly sure when it is teams start announcing who's winning the job. Normally, that's, I think, a week or two, maybe a little earlier prior to the season. So we probably will know for about 2 months who's going to be the starting quarterback. But as of right now, guys, who would you give the edge to for Michigan?
McCaffrey.
Dylan McCaffrey. So Brady and I, when he was a senior in high school, he was at Valor Christian in Colorado.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So when he was at Valor Christian, freshman year of college, Brady and I, we were going to go do a broadcast for Saguaro. Saguaro High School is like the big high school football program out of Arizona, and they're in Scottsdale. And we were going to go do a game, and they're playing, dude, I don't even know, like St. Mary's or something, not a football school. But the week before, they had played Dylan McCaffrey and Valor Christian. So we watched the game live on TV, and then their coach sent us the files that we could watch on Huddle and watch film for the game. And dude's been the real deal since he was in high school. So I'm hoping Dylan McCaffrey gets it because that could be he's fun to watch.
Just another line in the McCaffrey family tree, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just what we need.
Castle Rock, Colorado, and Valor Christian. What a sick name.
Lyle?
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of covered it. You figure it has to be McCaffrey, right? Yeah, you figure it has to be McCaffrey, just because, I mean, look, he hasn't played much, but he's got a little bit of experience. He's a high recruit, and yeah, people think he's got a chance to be the guy.
He can have a subpar season this year, but he'll still have a better chance of winning the Heisman than Christian McCaffrey did just because he plays for Michigan.
Or because he's a quarterback, which is now – that's a conversation we had today, was that it feel like quarterbacks offensively are more inclined to win now.
Yeah, I said that today because we were talking about potential Heisman favorites because Keaton Slovis was really low. And I was saying I would take Keaton Slovis over a ton of guys, including some of the guys that are like at 25-1 that play running back. Because what I said last year is Jonathan Taylor put up numbers that were better than 09 Mark Ingram. And like he had 200 less yards and 2 less total touchdowns than 2015 Derrick Henry. And Jonathan Taylor not only didn't win, he didn't get an invite. So, I mean, like, it just kind of feels like it's becoming a pure quarterback award.
You know, it's funny how often we have these conversations in our podcast group chat and then like literally an hour later have these conversations on the show. This happens every week, and it has happened that way for the last 4 years.
Yep.
And it'll continue to happen. Guys, this is a fun one from Humza Khan. What do you think about hiring Todd, or I don't, it's a word of weirdly, but what do you think about Todd Graham going to Hawaii? Also, do you think it was a good move for ASU to fire Todd Graham?
I think it's a good move for him. I mean, it's a job. It's a head coaching job. I'm surprised that he did not end up as a coordinator somewhere after ASU let him go. And maybe at the time, I mean, I always liked Todd Graham because his first couple years, ASU was pretty good. And then they kind of fell from the graces pretty quickly after his first 2 or 3 years. And suddenly they just weren't good. And I think he's a good coach because he has a good track record where he's been, because he was good at Tulsa too. And then immediately had success at ASU. So, you know, I think he had a couple of down years. I think he got a lot of flack from ASU fans that maybe he didn't deserve. But in the long run, and, you know, hindsight's 2020, but looking back now, I think it was the right move because despite the fact that ASU has not won or has lost at least 5 games in a season, all 3 years since he's been gone, or both years since he's been gone at this point, like, I still think ASU is better set for the future with Herm Edwards.
Yeah. First off, I want to give our like fans and viewers a shout out because we're getting like loaded with comments in the comment section. So we're going to easily fill like an hour of time or whatever. I think we've talked about this type of question on a past show. And in terms of hiring Herm Edwards, it's like Josh said, the record hasn't elevated yet, but I think it's getting to that breaking point where they're about to shoot through just because the recruits are so good. The sales pitch they have to come to ASU now is so good where it's almost like NFLU with all the successful NFL players they have on the staff. And you saw it this year. And there's so many young stars on this ASU team that it only feels like a matter of time before they're going to kind of start to take off.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. You know, when we first showed up to ASU, you know, I think Josh was, I'd say, the most exposed to ASU before any of us getting there with just how he followed USC and knew most about it. But when we came into ASU, I mean, our freshman year, we saw, all right, a lackluster ASU team. Second year, they beat Washington. It was number 5 at the time and had a big marquee win. But then you look at that was really all they had to show for. They didn't have a lot of success beyond those 1 to 2 big wins a year. He went 1-1 in his last 2 years against U of A. Herm 2-0. I think, like Josh said, hindsight's 2020, and I think long run wise and future wise, Herm Edwards in a pairing with Jaden Daniels is the key to success for the Sun Devil team.
Especially with Zach Hill now too, as the OC.
Oh yeah. And I read an article the other day where Herm said to Zach Hill, is like, challenge this kid, like show him what you can do. And Jaden took on every hit. He took on every hit. He took everything in stride. He took everything, you know, perfectly.
It's just amazing how I look back and I remember I questioned the Herm Edwards hiring, and now it's kind of like how I feel with Bobby Hurley. I just hope he never leaves. Like, I hope Herm never goes. Like, I mean, he's just such a good guy in what he's slowly doing. I mean, again,
I cannot wait. I can't wait until the day, Blake, you get to interview Bobby Hurley again.
Yeah.
Dude, you should tell that story.
I think I have. Long story short, I was the only person covering Arizona State basketball at Oregon State, which great fun to trip thanks to ASU, courtesy of them. But I was the only person there covering ASU, and they just blew a late lead, and I had to interview Bobby Hurley following the loss. And I just asked him, like, the first question was, you know, this was like Romelo's first game back. You know, how great was it having him out there? And he answered, I'm a terrible coach right now. Then I asked him another question. He said, I'm a terrible coach right now. Then I asked him a third question. He said, I'm a terrible coach right now. And he stormed off. And somehow, some way, ESPN, CBS Sports, they picked up the quote and they used it in articles. They ran it on my internship, Arizona Sports 98.7. So that's my Bobby Hurley encounter, which he Marshawn Lynch me is what I like to tell everyone. Guys, we have 2 great questions that are actually back-to-back, which is great because, as Lyle said, we have so many comments coming in. So for everyone that's watching right now, thank you. I mean, this is great. So if we don't answer your questions, sorry, the live chat's just constantly going. But I was able to find these back-to-back questions that are absolutely fantastic. And they're gone. No, I'm kidding. This first one comes from Robin Shook. And guys, we were actually talking about this in the group chat kind of today. Who will go number 1 overall in the 2021 NFL draft?
Gotta be Lawrence or Sewell. I mean, right? If it's a team that needs a quarterback, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. And even if it's a team that doesn't, more than likely a team that does need a quarterback is going to trade up, especially because a player like Trevor Lawrence is in this draft. However, if you want to look at the other situation, if the Bengals go 4-12 this year, say Joe Burrow's good, but the Bengals don't have good team success, then they'll have the number 1 pick, and Penei Sewell's the easy choice. I mean, he'll be the first non-quarterback taken for sure.
Yeah, Lyle makes a good point. I feel like whoever has that number 1 pick that does not need a quarterback might trade down. But I think it's worth pointing out that there are a handful of teams in this league that have a young quarterback that they're going to stick with. So, I mean, even if Joe Burrow had a bad year in Cincinnati and they again get like that topic, there's obviously no reason for them to go grab Trevor Lawrence. I feel like I don't think, I can't foresee it happening, but I don't think Joe Burrow is going to get the Josh Rosen treatment where he gets picked first overall, or not first overall, but pick top 10. And then
no one's ever going to get the Josh Rosen treatment ever again.
You kind of feel bad for him, right?
I think he totally got screwed over. But whatever. I mean, if that's what the Cardinals want to do, and they're looking like they're going to be good this year, so whatever. But I would be absolutely stunned if that happens. So I mean, I think that Penei Sewell has to be the next guy up at this point, but I would be stunned if a team that needs a quarterback is not picking number 1.
I think you're going to have a similar conversation you had this year, whereas the best player in the draft is Penei Sewell, but the number 1 person taken will be Trevor Lawrence. So the best player this past year, Chase Young, number 1, Joe Burrow. So Lyle brought up some good points, like we said earlier in our group chat about Penei Sewell and just the numbers and the tape and everything. I mean, he's got top to bottom everything he needs to right now succeed in the NFL. Right now.
Yeah, I said this in the chat earlier, unless it's straight up like I'm trying to think of who out there would be in this situation, but unless it's like you desperately need Trevor Lawrence, who I do think is the best quarterback, Penei Sewell, like we were talking about this in the group chat, has the chance to be a like Joe Thomas level good, because Lyle was talking about how he's seen Stanley, he's seen, Quentin Nelson, and like Sewell's already better, is like only a sophomore. I think this guy, I mean, if you have a decent quarterback already, you have to take him number 1 overall, because I really do think this guy is going to be an all-time level talent. So if you're a team and you have a quarterback and you finish with that number 1 overall pick, you might be in like the greatest position in NFL draft history, because there are likely going to be teams. I mean, we see it sometimes, some years, but like this year, for example, Burrow was going to be the number 1 pick, but like Tua, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, those weren't guys that really were like worthy of trading up to like the number 2 or number 3 pick. Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, those are going to be guys where teams I think are going to want to trade up to try to get him at 1, 2, or 3. So if you're sitting there at 1, like I think it was Lyle that said it, or it was Josh about like Burrow with the Bengals. If the Bengals like finish with the worst overall record, they win 3 games, and they're sitting there at number 1, they can trade out of that number 1 pick, go to 2 or 3, and take Sewell and get a haul of picks. But I mean, again, if you don't desperately need a quarterback, I think Sewell is going to be an all-time offensive tackle great.
What I could see happening is something similar that happened to, say, the 2011-ish Colts, and that was they were a good team. Their top quarterback, Peyton Manning, went down with an injury, and then what do? They get Andrew Luck right after that. You suck for luck. So I could see a team that has a good quarterback. I'm not going to jinx anybody. Could have an injury. Patriots, they don't have a good quarterback. They could
just imagine if the Patriots pull this off and they end up getting like Trevor Lawrence or something with the number 1 overall pick. Like,
See, I said Belichick would just be like just crazy enough where he would like forfeit one season for an extra 20 to get Trevor Lawrence. But let's just say they win like 7 or 8 games, the Patriots. I could still see them giving up like 4 first rounders to trade up to number 1 to get Lawrence, just because like, okay, those first rounders we use in future years are going to be nothing near what Trevor Lawrence is going to give us. So like, I don't know. Maybe it's just all speculation that we're making here, but I would not be shocked to see the Patriots give up like a ridiculous haul to go get him either.
We've seen what Bill Belichick can do with a pick 199 quarterback. I'd love to see what he could do with a pick number 1 quarterback.
Yeah.
just the fact, like the first 5 picks in the next draft. I mean, you got Lawrence, you got Fields, you got Sewell, Gregory Rousseau, who is just like, I made a comment in my video the other day about like Rousseau, how he can be like Chase Young and finish like number 4 in the Heisman, and people thought I was comparing the two, which I wasn't. But there's a chance like Rousseau can be like a Chase Young type player. He's an absolute stud. And then you got Jamar Chase, who, you know, is the best wide receiver in college football. So if you have like a pick in that draft that's 1 through 5, you're going to be getting an absolute stud. This next one, this comes from our good buddy who always has the best comments. Never really asks questions. He always has the best comments, but that's short round. What's your best college football moment that you've witnessed in person?
I'd say, well, mine would be the national championship from this year.
I was going to say Brady. What was it? Indiana winning their 6th game of the season.
Hell yeah, brother.
The 7.
The old Oaken bucket. No, I'd say the national championship. That was special. That was cool seeing LSU win in Louisiana. That's mine.
I mean, I've been to a handful of SC games. I've always said that I thought the Stanford game in 2013 was cool, where SC went for it on 4th down on the final drive and then got it and then kicked like a 48-yard field goal to win it. I always thought that was cool because Stanford was number 3. But the Oregon game this year was a lot of fun with the downfield shot to Ayuk on 3rd and 25 to not put the game away, but it ended up putting the game away.
It hit the over.
It hit the over on that play too. That's one hell of a way to hit the over. But the Balaj game, freshman year against Pat Mahomes, no less. I mean, Pat Mahomes ain't playing defense, but like that game, I know Lyles brought this up before. That game, Pat Mahomes did not play poorly, but never in a million years did I think that Pat Mahomes would be today's Pat Mahomes in the NFL and a Super Bowl champion 2 years into his NFL career. But that game, seeing Kalen Balaj score 8 touchdowns in a single game, rushing and receiving combined, like we'll never see that again in person. And we saw it in the 2nd game we ever went to at ASU. That was crazy.
You were also at the Balaj Barrage, weren't you?
I was at that game.
UCLA?
Yeah, when he like ran over dudes for 40 straight yards and like carried 12
Gus Johnson had like an aneurysm.
Yeah, he did. That was a great game too. That was the first game I went to where I like rooted for ASU to win. And that it was because UCLA was like number 7 or something. That was a good game.
Yeah, ASU wise, it was definitely either the 8 touchdown Balaj game or the Oregon game. Because that's the thing about Balaj. I mean, people went crazy when Joe Burrow had 8 touchdowns this year in the playoff against Oklahoma. I mean, that's more likely for a quarterback to happen, as amazing as it was. But like running backs or wide receivers just don't score 8 touchdowns in a game. That doesn't happen, nevertheless, at the college level. So like to see that in the 2nd ASU game we ever attended against Patrick Mahomes of all people is pretty nuts to look back on. Away from ASU, I guess I could say the 2012 national championship festivities up until the actual kickoff. But then aside from that, so when I was like 11, the first, maybe you guys have heard this story. The first time I ever saw Notre Dame play in person was when they came to Seattle to play Washington, and they killed them. That was the year UW went 0-12 too. But Notre Dame killed them. They won by like 30. And we waited around after the game to hear the alma mater and like to try to get some high fives from the players. And Golden Tate runs up to me and just kind of chucks me his gloves from the game. And I had his gloves right in my 2 hands. I was like in shock. I couldn't believe it. So from then on, he's been like my favorite guy. And then coincidentally enough, a year and a half later, where does he get drafted but the Seahawks? So like that was always kind of a cool game. And for a first time to see Notre Dame in person, that's kind of always a memory that I'll have locked in the memory bank. So
Do you have those in your room anywhere?
I do. So I gave one with
He
my.
pulls them out and he's like, I'm actually I'm actually wearing the gloves.
Here, give me.
Glove didn't fit. The glove didn't fit, Lyle.
Exactly.
Well, while he goes, obviously the ASU ones are great. And as Josh knows, I was at the USC Penn State Rose Bowl from a few years back. So that was pretty epic. Shout out to Bob, my grandpa, for the free tickets. That was courtesy of him.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks for the invite, Bob.
Yes. So I have one glove. What happened? The story is So the story is I was with my.
I don't know why I found that so funny. I have one glove.
So the story is I went with my good friend John, who's also a Notre Dame fan. So when Golden threw him to me, I gave one to him, and I kept one. So yeah, that's the very same.
You're much nicer than I am, Lyle. But that's like a very well-known fact, though.
You should tell the story of the Chincident. No, don't.
I think we're good on that. Guys, I mean, obviously I want to give everyone a chance to ask questions, but this next one, it's some short round again. It's too good to pass up. Who out of the four of you is the best golf player?
Not me.
Yeah.
Not even one
Brady and Lyle. So Brady and Lyle, you guys can figure this out because Josh and I, we can't. I mean, I wish we could like put videos of that video of me at Topgolf when I had that miniature club and the ball went.
Hang on, I'll find it. I'll get it pulled up.
Yeah, it's not a good sign.
I'll get it.
And we have a golf simulator in our apartment complex back in Arizona, and now granted it's a simulator, so it's false, but I hit a swing and it said the ball traveled I think 6 yards. So I'm awful at golf, and I know Josh is.
I swing like a baseball player. Let's put it that way. You can tell from my swing. I'll make contact with it, but you can tell from my swing that I used to play baseball.
So it's between Brady and Lyle for who's the better golfer.
Mini golf, I'll run you all out of the building.
I've been playing a lot during this quarantine. So.
I was gonna say it's probably Brady. I've started to pick it up a lot more over the last like 2 months or so, just because I kind of realized I missed getting out and actually like playing a sport, and golf's one of those few like lifetime sports that you can not only play, but you don't need other people to go and play. So I'm like Josh, I still kind of swing like a baseball player, but I mean, over the last couple months, I've definitely gotten a lot better, but Brady's played a lot longer than I have. It's probably Brady. Although Josh, I'll meet you at the Cove for some mini golf.
Oh, dude, on the Cape, mini golf is legit. That's all we did.
My airdrop isn't working right now, but I found the video of Blake attempting to golf. I'll get it pulled up. I'll get it sent over to my phone.
So Blake tweeted it from the show's account.
I did, but who knows where that is?
Oh, yeah, you can't even. You can't see it. You can't see it.
That's like,
Hang on.
You can kind of see it.
The thing that gets me in the video every time is BV's laugh you hear in the background.
Yeah.
Like pissing himself. I saw this one question. Oh, here it goes. It comes from Junior. He wants to know what I play for NCAA 14. I do the 360.
Oh yeah.
Josh does 360. I think BK does the 360.
I do too.
Well, all right. So we all play on the 360. If I can figure out ways to be on the Xbox, because I haven't played Xbox in like 10 years. So like I said, the fact that the last NCAA game I played was 07. So if I can figure out how to go live and I can play people, I'm going to try to set that up. People are saying, can we talk about the Ivy League? Unfortunately, no. Let's see what we got here. Someone wants to know who is the best. This is from Mills Productions. Who is the best group of 5 team this year? Who do you think is going to be the best group of 5 team this year?
I'll jump in right away. I'm going to say Memphis.
I was about to say the same thing. Memphis is always tough. I mean, I know Norvell's gone, but Memphis always finds a way to win 8, 9, sometimes double-digit games. So I mean, that's a pretty safe pick to say Memphis.
And they're getting Brady back for one more year.
Yeah, they are.
So I mean, I think with Brady White running the offense, I think that they're the safe pick. But it is tough. We were talking the other day. There are so many group of 5 teams, like Fresno State, for example, that will go from 2-10 to 10-2 in a year. So I think that that's something to consider. Oh, look at this icon! Wow.
Oh boy.
Look at the hair.
Hey, okay, Brady. Hold on, pause the video real quick, Brady.
I haven't seen the top of Blake's head in a long time.
So long.
Yeah, I mean, it's just normally, the hair's it's at a nice length right now, but overall, I just like having the hat on. Let me give a quick background on this. So, for those of you that have gone to Topgolf, first off, it's the best thing ever. But for whatever
No
reason,
free ads. No free ads.
they have this guy that like walks around with this like mini golf club. So, I mean, normally,
A children's club.
So yeah, children's. I mean, normally a golf club's like pretty long. This thing, as you can see in the video, with how much I'm bent over, is like yay big. Well,
Looks like a souvenir baseball bat.
But I mean, it's a very tiny club. So I had to crouch down really low, and it was very difficult, especially on my back, because you guys know I graduated college back in 1850. But Brady, so you can play the video now. Now that everyone knows this isn't a normal club.
We see your shot here, but remember Jordan also smacked it with this club too.
Yes. This is from the BV one.
I don't know if I have that one.
Well, I think that one was on somebody's Snapchat story or something. Yeah, that was the one that Brady took, but it was the same shot, I think, because it went like way right.
It was tough to hit, but hey, with the kids' golf club, I think I won a free prize too. So,
dude, honestly, Top Golf on the bottom floor for me, not even worth it.
No, it's not. You gotta be up above. I've never been on the top floor.
Top floor is great. Were we on the top floor when we were in Vegas, or were we on the second floor?
They had a pool.
Yeah.
They had a pool that had like a bar in the middle of it. And it was like 5 stories.
Yeah, big time.
Vegas Top Golf is lit.
It was a pain to get to, but it was lit.
Going back to the question, I never answered. I think Memphis. we always get sidetracked. It's fine. I think Memphis. I mean, with Brady White, Kenny Gainwell, I think they're going to be a team to watch. UCF. I think with Dylan Gabriel, he's coming back as a sophomore. I think UCF is going to be solid. Cincinnati, I think they have a chance to be solid again. I think those are kind of like the 3. I mean, aside from like Boise State, who's I think just a given, I think those are 3 to keep an eye on. But yet again, Boise State, I mean, they're probably going to be a 10, 11 win team. So I think those are. I don't know if all you guys answer that one, but that's who I have to say. All right. There was this one question. I can't remember who it's from, but it was essentially, can the Oregon State Beavers shock the world this year and make a bowl game? Last year, I mean, they've been off. They've been one of the worst, FBS teams over the last few years. I think last year their over/under on wins was like 2.5 or something. I know I took the under. I believe they ended up with 5 wins. They were very close. But does Oregon State get over the hump, guys, and do they go bowling this upcoming year?
Yeah, this question comes from Obi-Wan Deer 2. It just happened to be the first thing I saw when I looked at the page. I don't know. They were 5-7 last year. They had
5-7.
They had 3 conference wins. I just don't know. I think they're gonna spoil some team seasons. I'm gonna say no. I think they go 5-7 again. And I'll say they finish between 6th and 4th in the Pac-12 North. I just don't see it.
In the last, 10 years, Oregon State has 2 winning seasons. They were 9-4 in 2012, and they were 7-6 in 2013. Other than that, the most they've had is 5.
And they fell apart in 2013. Like they were supposed to be good because that was the Sean. Yeah, that was the Sean Mannion year.
They were preseason number 25. The highest they were actually ranked was 25, but then they fell apart. They won the Hawaii Bowl.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, Sean Mannion and Brandon Cooks were on that team, right?
Yeah, it was Sean Mannion and Brandon Cooks. Well, that was the 2013 was the year that Brandon Cooks won the Biletnikoff, I think. So, yeah, they were supposed to be good. I remember we had a football game that night, a high school football game, but it was like a Thursday. Maybe it was a Friday, I guess. But USC played Oregon State, and I remember because SC was so weird in 2013. That was the year that Kiffin got tarmacked, and then Coach O took over. And this was like Coach O's first win. So it was like right at the beginning of the season or close to then. So I was just like, not a chance. SC goes up to Reser and beats Oregon State because they always lose there. And I remember checking my phone and like SC was like blowing them out. I just remember being absolutely shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since those guys have been good. I'm kind of on the same page as Josh. They'll probably win like 4 to 5 games, especially after losing Jake Luton too. Like the fact that you're losing your quarterback doesn't exactly help.
Love Jake
So
Luton.
I think it might be.
Thumbnail. Yeah.
Oh,
I think it might be a bit of a
people were
struggle
asking
for
that
him.
in the comments as well. What is what is an assortment of people in the thumbnail? I essentially told Brady, okay, everyone gets to pick a player that goes in the thumbnail, but Brady didn't want to pick one because putting 4 is so difficult. I'm kidding, Brady.
Hey, you make it, Blake.
I know. So I picked Bo Nix.
The show's favorite.
Yes. And
Yes.
then you guys then went on to pick.
No, I picked Penei Sewell. Just thought, it'd be cool to give some limelight to an
Hey,
offensive lineman. Why not?
linemen are people too. Linemen are people too.
And then I said Grant Gunnell, who was Arizona's backup quarterback last year, and
Lyle
then,
originally said AJ Carter.
who is he on ASU's? He had like 2 carries last year. But yeah, Jake Luton. He used to be at Idaho, I think. That dude's lit.
Oh, it is. All right, boys. We got some more coming. We got Graham Turnbull. Who do you think will be in the playoffs this year? You're way, way, way too early. 4 teams that are going to be in the college football playoff.
I think we mentioned this last week. At this point, I understand Justin Ross is not there, but it is really hard to bet against Clemson right now, just because I think they'll figure it out. And I don't think that they have another team in the SEC that is going to really push it to win that ACC title. So for now, I'll say Clemson as the first team, and not as the number 1 team, but just to get them out of the way. I'll say Ohio State. We're gonna go out on a limb. We're gonna say Georgia, and I not sold totally on Bama. They're still gonna win 10 games, but I don't know if Bama's gonna be in. I don't know if LSU is gonna be back. I guess Oklahoma maybe. Oklahoma's another safe pick, I feel like, even though they got essentially an untested quarterback coming in.
I'll go Clemson, Ohio State, Bama. Like those 3 I feel pretty confident about, especially because Bama didn't make it last year. I feel like, it'd be something to not see them make it 2 years in a row. And then as like a little bit of a wild card, I talked about last week that I think one of these sleeper playoff teams is going to be somebody in the Pac-12 between Oregon or USC. And especially since both those teams have huge games at the start of their schedules. Like if one of them wins one of those games, and it's looking pretty good for them the rest of the way through. So between USC and Oregon, I'll go Oregon, but I guess that's a little bit of a safer pick right now. But those are my 4.
Yeah, we touched on this last week, and I've thought about it since. And it's one of those things where I have 3 schools, but I'm up in the air on a 4th. I think Clemson is a safe bet, like Josh said. No matter what Justin Ross is going to be playing or not, I think Clemson's still the best, the favorite for that. And then I have Oklahoma. I think with Spencer Rattler, he's a great young quarterback. He's going to have his time to shine and has all the weapons. And obviously Lincoln Riley's a great quarterback mentor and grows quarterbacks exceptionally like we've seen in years past. And, Georgia's one of those schools too, where they have another great quarterback. They know where their quarterback room falls, unlike Alabama, where we don't know if it's going to be Mac Jones. We don't know if it's going to be a newcomer. But I really want to put a Pac-12 school in. They need their time to shine, but I don't think it will. I'm putting Ohio State into it too.
What?
I want to, but honestly,
it's just the way you were like, you know what? I really want to put a Pac-12 school in there,
but I'm not going to.
Ohio State.
I'm putting Ohio State in. So I have Clemson,
conference realignment.
Clemson, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State.
I'm gonna make mine fantastic and
It's gonna
bold.
be great.
All right, so Clemson. I mean, like they're like the Warriors, where it's like the regular season means nothing because they're just gonna have a nice cakewalk through the entire season. So Clemson, that's a guarantee. Whatnot. I'm gonna go with Florida as my second team. I think they have a real strong
Kyle
chance
Trask
at the
guy
SEC this year. Huge Kyle Trask guy. Huge guy. Huge Trask guy.
Felipe Franks, another domino, leads Florida.
So I'm going to go with Florida as my number 2 team. My number 3 team, I'm going to go with a Pac-12 school. I'm going to go with USC. if Oregon had like a really good quarterback, I think they'd be close to a lock. Because I mean, defensively they're going to be great with Kayvon Thibodeau, and offensively they're going to be just fine with CJ Verdell. We talked about Penny Sewell, but it's just at the quarterback spot. I mean, they're going to have another quarterback battle as well. It's going to be a decline compared to last year with Justin Herbert. So I'm going to give the edge to SC. And if SC beats Bama week 1 and they can just cruise, they can spare a loss the rest of the season. So I got Clemson, Florida, USC. I'm going to go with Michigan. I think Michigan finally can get the job done. They're due.
Do they beat Ohio State, though?
No, they don't beat Ohio State.
Ohio State. So they're going to beat Ohio State, go to the Big Ten title game where they'll play Minnesota. Or are they in the same? I don't know how the Big Ten. Are they in the same division in the Big Ten?
I never remember the Big Ten. I think it's. Hold on.
Who's where.
We can just look it up. Just look
it up. I don't know if they're in the same divisions in the Big Ten.
Can't wait till the Lakers and Clippers meet in the finals.
At least it's East and West now, and not like legends and icons.
It was like Independence and America.
That was so dumb.
Did we get confirmation whether or not they're in the same division?
The divisions, once it loads, are.
I think yes, they're in the. No.
Dude, also, I know people are going to be like, whatever. Sorry, we don't know every team in every division and how it works. Sometimes I forget
Big Ten's website is dumb.
Yeah, the thing about Ohio State
I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
So Michigan and Minnesota are not in the same division.
All right, so Michigan's going to play Minnesota in the Big Ten title game. You heard it here on June 9th. At Cold Takes Exposed, find me. You won't need to.
I was going to say.
Blake, please tweet out this clip.
I will.
Honestly, it's like Ohio State. It's like, wow, they're losing some pieces from last year. They lose Okudah. They lose Chase Young. Oh, maybe our defense can get to them for Michigan because, they lost J.K. Dobbins. Oh, wait, now they have Trey Sermon. So the production there is going to only stay the same or pick up. With Justin Fields, already came in third in the Heisman.
Like one of the best names in college football, Master Teague.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're not winning the Big Ten. They're not winning the division.
Clemson, Florida, USC, and Michigan. That's my playoff right there. All right, guys.
I could believe the Florida one. I could believe it.
All right, guys. This is a phone. This comes from Ryan Sullivan. Who pulls the most? Now, Ryan, that's a great question. If we're talking high school through community college, there is no question. Game over. Like, you need an NFL starting roster for right there, my friend. Now that I'm happily in a relationship, I don't pull anymore. So, Josh, he's happily in a relationship. So he doesn't pull. So Brady, Lyle, between the two of you.
It's like golf all over again. Oh, God.
So claim it. Somebody claim it.
Who's claiming it?
The screen froze.
Yeah, it's weird.
Dude, even the show's like, don't answer.
No, don't answer. Don't answer.
It was like when I took Dabo as my head coach. It's like the Wi-Fi couldn't believe Lyle took Dabo, so it froze on him.
I want to see in the comments who they think.
So did you guys? I don't.
Yeah, we did, Blake. You weren't paying attention.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the next comment.
Blake, let's just say you and me.
Yeah, it's the two of them.
I'm just thinking of that Jimmy Tatro video. 2 words. He pulls. So there you go. All right, guys. Let's see here. Kendall Foch back. Kendall Foch. Sorry, I'm not good with names. Will Florida State
You're the worst.
be above or below 500 at the end of this year? Will Florida State be 500?
They'll be 500, but I just wanted to point out that Cameron Bishop has now said Lyle gets bodies. I'll say they're above 500.
Brady is a ladies' man. Thank you,
And
Charlie Kingsbury.
Brady
easily. Who is the thickness? Oh, God. Lyle's down with the thickness. What was the question?
Florida
What does
State.
this show become?
They'll be 500.
That's the thing. If you want to just get us completely off track, try to think of something clever that'll have us talking about something that's totally irrelevant. Those are the best kind of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Florida State. Are they bowl eligible this year?
Florida, not Florida State.
No, it was
No, it was
Florida.
Florida State.
FSU.
500. They'll be 500.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll win 6 games. They'll go 6-6. I don't know why I was thinking 5-5. Yeah, they'll go 6-6. I don't know.
I'll have Florida State being back. I'll have them going 8-5. They lose their bowl game.
8-5, they lose the bowl game.
They lose their bowl game in the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl to Louisiana Tech.
All
right, guys. This
Okay.
comes from
Independence Bowl. Is that like one of the automatic bids?
I don't know. I just thought of a bowl that came to me, and that's for whatever reason the one. Wyatt Griner, a sleeper team for the playoff. Now, this was a question last week, I think, but hey, our answers might have changed. So, who do you guys think is a sleeper for the playoff?
I'll take a little bit from the two of you guys. And I think in the past I've mentioned that for me,
There are three of us.
What did I say?
You said the two of you guys. There are three of us.
Well, yeah, it's because I started rambling. I'll say USC and Florida, and that's where you get the two. So Blake and Lyle, because I know that both of you. I mean, Lyle had mentioned SC too at one point. For me, I think obviously the sleeper would be Oregon, but I know that some people think that Oregon's going to win the Pac-12 and make the playoff anyway. Like Lyle had mentioned, he thinks Oregon makes the playoff, but SC might be in the conversation. For me, like I've said before, I have too many questions about Oregon, so I'm going to sit back and wait and see what we see from them. But like, give me a couple games with Oregon, and then I'll tell you if I think they're making the playoff. Because as of right now, I'm not totally sold on them. I think they're going to be a good team, but I'm not sold. So the easy answer for me is Oregon. But to mix it up, I like what Blake said. I'll go with Florida and USC.
Yeah, I'll stick with SC and Oregon. And I gave a little bit of a longer response on this on last week's show. So basically, I just said what I said earlier in this show too, is if one of those teams wins their big game early on, then they're looking pretty good to the point where they can lose a game, they can have one slip up, and their whole resume, their strength of schedule is going to be right on that first or right on that early game potential win. So I'll stick with SC or Oregon.
I'm going to go with a team that we haven't talked about really at all as a complete sleeper. Not a team that I think could, make a shot. This is a true sleeper. I'm going Texas A&M. Kellen Mond is going to prove something to everybody this year at Texas A&M and take them to a playoff as a sleeper.
I like it. I mean, he said a few weeks ago that he thinks the Aggies, go Ags, they can make a jump like LSU did last year. I mean, it's a bold take, but I mean, they definitely can pick up the wins to get it done. I got two.
Also, Jimbo's still the head coach.
Yeah, Jimbo's still the head coach.
And nobody, you know what? And to his point, nobody thought Joe Burrow was going to be Joe Burrow. So so it's possible.
And it's also worth pointing out real quick, Blake. Sorry, we talked about A&M's schedule last year and how loaded it was. Like if they had survived, if they made a bowl game, we would consider it to be a good season, despite considering how stacked it was. Like last year, if they had won a couple more of those games, they would have been in the conversation. This year, I don't know. I mean, their non-conference games are Abilene Christian, North Texas, Colorado, and Fresno State. Wait, they have 4? They have 4?
The way you said it, I was like, North Texas, Colorado. That's a...
No. North Texas.
It's South Colorado, North Texas.
North Colorado. No. Blake. Fresno State, Colorado, North Texas, Abilene Christian. But again, like they still have LSU, Bama, Ole Miss, Auburn, I guess. But their schedule is significantly not as tough as it was last year.
Because they don't have Clemson. That'll do it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I
think they had Georgia last year too, because they take a couple games on the east side of the SEC. So they had Clemson, Bama, Georgia, and LSU. So yeah.
And they had those big games on the road too. So
yeah, so I like that Texas A&M pick. I got 2. I'm going to stick in the state of Texas. Texas, they'll be back eventually, just like Michigan. Michigan's due to beat Ohio State, and at one point in our life, Texas is going to make the college football playoff. It's when you crunch the numbers, when you look at the physics involved, it's bound to happen. So I'm going to go with Texas as a sleeper. Another sleeper team, I'm going to go with Penn State. I think Penn State, I mean, realistically, if anyone's going to, give Ohio State competition, it's probably going to be Penn State. So those are my two
Like that.
sleepers.
Not Michigan.
No, because Michigan's going to be in it already. So this is to be the second Big Ten team that tries to make it in, because Michigan's
The
already.
American education system just failed right before. If you crunch the numbers, they're due.
If you crunch the numbers and you look in depth, it's bound to happen. The odds of it eventually happening are high.
Blake touched every stage of the American education system, from elementary school to community college to regular college, and it's still
Regular college.
All right, guys. This comes from Ryan Sullivan again, and this is a fun one. Why did you guys choose Arizona State?
Broadcasting far from home while still staying close to home. Pac-12 school. I mean, Pac-12 school wasn't the thing that the huge contributing factor, but the fact that it was a place like a brand that I was familiar with, and D1 sports. Plus, they had just gotten an NCAA D1 hockey team, so
let's do that hockey.
Let's do that hockey. But yeah, it was a huge thing to get me there.
Yeah, originally it wasn't the broadcasting specifically that got me to school there, because I came to school thinking I wanted to be a writer. But yeah, similar to what Josh said, the fact that you have the 4 major sports in a city, you have spring training, you have Division I sports with ASU, and then once we toured the journalism school, we realized what a program they had that was up and coming. So all that kind of combined together.
I was there when Lyle toured the journalism school.
That's the funniest story.
That's awesome.
Is when Brady and I were juniors, we toured the big campus.
In high school.
Yeah, sorry, juniors in high school. Yeah, we toured the Tempe campus because we thought, well, that's just what you do. That's where the school is. And they waited till the end of the tour to ask what we were interested in. And there's only 3 families on this tour. It was Brady's family, my family, and then one other family. All 3 of us say, oh, we want to do sports journalism. And they're like, oh, that's cool. That's actually on another campus. So then, then we're going to have to plan around the rest of our day to figure out how to get to this other campus and take another tour. So, yeah.
Yeah. For me, my grandpa has lived in Scottsdale for so long. So I've been out there a bunch, been out in Arizona, and have seen how Cronkite has grown. And the sports was a big pull of it, and the weather. Growing up in Indiana, it snowed, and I wanted to get away from the snow. And having a high-level Power 5 football team was one of the big pulls for me too. And luckily enough, I was able to work with them for 4 years and cover them for 4 years. So that was definitely it definitely paid off, I'd say.
The Chicks.
Blake, the Chicks.
You said that this question's been asked before, and that's always the first thing you say, and then you just go silent.
Hey, can we go find Blake's vlog channel that has the video of him moving into the dorm?
Hey, you used to do vlogs at football games with all of us.
Yeah,
do you guys remember the first time you met Blake? Because I do.
I do.
No, one of those vlogs was freshman year. I was in the pool. I went up to block a shot because there was a basketball hoop.
Right.
I hit my head on the rim. My whole face just cracked open and started gushing out blood.
What?
Seb was actually there for this. He was
What?
there.
That's my roommate. Yep.
So I started gushing out blood and everything. And so the next day I go to the nurse to pretty much see if I need stitches or anything, because I have a pretty big gouge. And I'm making small talk with the nurse, as anyone would do when they're in the situation. And I bring up the fact that I live in Monrovia, California. And she goes, no way. My niece, who goes to Arizona State, also lives in Monrovia, California. Here's her number. So, long story short, back to the question about me pulling, I got a girl's number because I went to the nurse's office. So
because I smacked my face on a basketball.
I don't know what does. Exactly.
Blake, the first time I met you was at a Diamondbacks game, and you were wearing sunglasses and a backwards hat inside, and I'm like, "Yep, this kid is."
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. So,
hey, but he was wearing Dodgers gear, and so was I. So I was like, all right,
that's where we all met him, because we all went to that Diamondbacks game the first week of school or wherever it was. So,
I knew who he was though, because Blake had posted some video in May, and was like, "Oh, look at me, I'm Blake. I'm going to ASU." And so I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Hi, sir. My name is Josh, and I'm also going to ASU." He's like, "Oh, what's up?" But we talked on Twitter or something, and then I saw him at the Diamondbacks game, and I was like, Brady, that's the idiot who runs the Harris Highlights account.
We went up. I remember I DM'd Blake after that game. I was like, "Yo, if you ever need help with anything, let me know." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And he's like, "Who cares? Go away."
And
All
here
right,
we are.
And look out. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Look at it. Hey, look at this now.
Hey.
Who would have thought? Who
Not
would have
me.
thought? All right, guys, we have enough time for one final question. You guys, I mean, I'm heading now to go pick up some dinner around like 6:10. So we got.
You
about
going to
50
drive or?
Oh, dude, there's Wingstop.
You got there first.
We got Wingstop down the street. It's a block away. I'm gonna walk and get my exercise. We have two things.
Love
First
that
off,
Wingstop.
what's up?
I said I love that Wingstop.
We ate that Wingstop.
Go to the Blaze, Blake. Go to the Blaze.
That was a great night, Josh. That was a great night. The first one, it's not a question, but it comes from Captain Rob, who's in the chat. I found him in the chat. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a question. It was just a comment. I think he said Wake Forest is going to go 8-4 this year. So, Captain Rob, you're wrong. Wake Forest is going 9-3 this year, buddy. The Demon Deacons are going to be a problem this year in the ACC. They're going to be an absolute problem. But this final question, or one of the final questions, unless there's a few good ones, is Brady's doing some curls. This comes from our good old buddy, Andrew Koster, Cost Sports. So we still need to, Andrew, if you're still watching, sometime in the next few months, buddy, we're getting you on the Zoom call. We want to talk about that night in New Orleans.
That night in New Orleans.
That night. We want to talk about that night, just overall the experience there, just what it's like being a Clemson fan. And he wants to know which of you guys would have the best chance at winning the Heisman Trophy.
Like in NCAA 14 or like in real life?
You guys are out there in the pads, man. You're on the team.
Well, I think I'm the only one that actually played football.
Yeah. I mean, like extensively, yeah. Brady is the only one, but
like with pads and a helmet, not just flags.
No, me.
I was gonna say Brady would set history, being like the first long snapper to ever win the Heisman Trophy.
Damn right, baby. Damn right.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Just shock the world.
Hey, who has better odds, me or Bo Nix? Me or Wilton Spate? Me or Wilton Spate?
Ooh,
that's tough.
Hey, Josh, Cameron Bishop said you look like you'd be a monster kicker.
Thank you. I've got a pretty mean drop kick, where you like do the fluty thing and you drop it nose first and it bounces up and you kick it. I can do that pretty well. I hit 140 yards one time.
What would that be your go-to position would be kicker?
Dude, so like growing up when I was a little kid, like I always played receiver, and in middle school I played receiver, and then when I went to high school I like worked out the kickers. So
Blake, what would your position be? Left bench?
My position would be, the flex, the do it all, man. I'd be the Dory Jackson, Jabril Peppers out there. I'd be lined up at wide receiver, running back. I'd be your DB. I'd be returning kicks. I'd be doing everything, man. I'd even be kicking field goals for you if you need me. I can do it all. I'm taking us to the natty. Jordan Case says, hey, Sean Salehi almost picked off Dwayne Haskins.
He also said I was the backup long snapper, which I was.
That's true. Hey, who's the best punter between you guys?
I'm gonna say.
I mean, Brady, you did own that team raging punt, so I mean, I'm pretty sure you have a great,
Yeah, I do. I got a leg on me. I can punt it pretty well. Like cannon.
Oh boy.
Cannon.
Yeah, I can't kick a ball at all.
Like you have to be coordinated to do that.
Well, that's also true. I can't touch my toes. And Cost Sports says Blake for Heisman. I think that's a fantastic way.
Should that be our next shirt, Blake for Heisman?
No. Why would we make that?
Why not?
No.
Why not? But
that should be the shirt. Why Lyle? Because why not?
Oh yes.
That would be a good one. But guys, this was a much better show than I thought it'd be. There was no news essentially the whole week, but Josh was lobbying for a show, so I said, why not just do a Q&A? He said, let's do it. We all decided to do it, and this was probably our best Q&A to date. I mean, the comments were just going like crazy. I mean, there were a lot of comments to go through, so we didn't get one of your questions. Brady, I know exactly what question you're laughing at, so we're going to keep going. This was a very fun show.
Come on.
Maybe next week we are going to do another Q&A. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe have some guests in the future. But again, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Anthony Adamo keeps asking, how old are you guys? So let's answer this guy's question. Boys roundtable, how old are we?
I'll handle this. I'm about to turn 22. Lyle and Blake are 20, or Lyle and Brady are 22, and Blake's like 49.
Blake's our
Blake's our dad.
Blake's our faculty advisor.
Yeah. Guys, I turned 24 a month from today. Like, what the hell?
Wait, you're only
My
23?
God.
Are you 23?
Yeah, I turned 24 a month from today.
Oh.
Well, our good pal Short Round Blake said you need to have a license to be able to punt.
Well, hey. It's the next trend, I'm telling you.
Blake would be a really bad quarterback because he wouldn't be able to drive down the field.
Hey, Cameron Bishop said, add another body for Lyle. Jeremiah Hickson says, I love watch the Q&A. And Short Round says, Blake's about to run for president. You're dang right. I am. Speaking of which, Harris Highlights 2020 merch, that's coming in the coming days. We've already had some people purchase that. I made a nice big order yesterday. So if you have any interest in Harris Highlights 2020 merch, the move that needs to happen for this great country in America, we need to make America better than what it currently is. So because of Harris Highlights 2020, we will do so. So stay tuned for the merch. If you haven't already.
Blake for Monrovia Mayor.
Blake from Monrovia Mayor. The guy's in the year, so I'm running for mayor. That's all I got to say. If you haven't already, make sure to follow our account on Twitter at the HH Show _. Lots of fun stuff there. Lots of fun stuff coming in the coming weeks and whatnot. You definitely want to follow if you have a Twitter. Again, that is at the HH Show _. Guys, any final parting words before we log off for the week?
Be nice to people. Don't be mean. Be nice to people.
Don't be mean to people.
Don't be mean. There's no need.
And if I don't know, I was gonna say if fans have any ideas for upcoming shows for the next few weeks, couple months, don't be afraid to drop them in the comments or add us on Twitter or whatever, just to come up with some more ideas.
Yeah,
someone said we should start our own flag football league. I say yes.
Yeah, we should all play 1v1v1.
Yeah.
No teams.
No teams.
Yeah, if you guys have any ideas for shows, like I know a few weeks ago we've done trivia episodes. We did like an all-time college football fantasy draft. If you have any ideas for potentially fun segments or anything, hit us up on Twitter. It can be the show's account. It could be any of our 4 accounts. If you just go to the Twitter, you'll find it all. Hit us up in the DMs. All of them are open at the HH Show _ because we want to make this as interactive and fan-friendly as possible. We want to take your ideas because we have some good ones. So again, if you have any potential show ideas or anything like that, at the HH Show _ Well, boy, Everything Sports just commented saying I'm late. Sorry, Everything Sports. Maybe next week, or you can just go back and rewatch because it was a fun show. Guys, I'm going to go pick up Wingstop. It's going to be a great night. And also, guys, I don't know if you know this. The Bachelor for the next 2 months, every Monday is running a best of
all time.
So they're doing season recaps in 2 to 3 hours. So I have that on TV that I'm going to be watching tonight. So make sure you guys check that out. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. For Lyle, I almost wrong order there. For Josh Schaefer, Lyle Goldstein, Brady Klein, this has been Blake Harris from Casa de Harris in beautiful Monrovia, California. And we will see you guys next week.
Harris is my favorite